Hey everybody, excuse me, it is Greg Coleman again, and of the Made Face, and I'm coming to you to do another tutorial. Yes, yes, yes. So you can see from my last tutorial, I have the basic eye complete. You can see that the lid of my eye is extremely beautiful and bright, as well as the beautiful brow bone, and then I have a little bit of that coppery brown right in the crease. Now just a little quick note, some of you have been asking, so what are the right colors for my eyes? Like what kind of eyeshadow color should I use? Rule of thumb is opposite of the color wheel. All right, so if your eyes are blue, you're going to want to go with something on the orangey or red side of things. What that means is anything that's a derivative of those colors as well. So beautiful coppery browns would work, browns would work, pinks would work well, purples would work really well for a blue eye. Just think about the opposite of the color wheel because you want to basically create a contrast between the color on your lid and your eye color. If you have green eyes, for example, purples work really, really well. Purples are one of my favorite things with a green eye. Yellows, things like that, really help to bring out that kind of quality in the eye. If you have a brown eye, if you have like some amber tones to your eye, like orangey, ambery kind of tones, blues work really well, steely grays work really well, colors like that. Brown eye people can do almost anything. You can do so many different colors because brown eyes just work with so much. Whereas say a blue eye, for example, greens don't work the best with a blue eye. It starts looking a little wonky. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. But just experiment. Get a color wheel. You can buy them at an art store and look at the opposite end. And that's the color range you want to kind of go for if you want your eyes to pop. Really, there are no major rules to it. If you want to do any eye color, you should be able to do it and rock it. But if you really want your eye color to pop and kind of just have the different the major tones in there, go with those colors, okay? All right, bam, wow. So the other thing is, as you can see, I have the mascara on, and some of you maybe are wondering why I didn't put mascara on the bottom. For a daytime look, I'm not a big fan for you ladies doing mascara on the bottom for a lot of different reasons. I think it closes off your eye a little bit. I like to keep the bottom, the underneath of the eye, extremely bright as possible. That's why I do the highlight, the concealing, and then I do a little bit of that crease color just right on the outside edge of the lower lash line. And that's it. I like to keep it nice and bright, and I think that you would have a better, more successful time doing that as well. All right, so let's move on to this tutorial. So this tutorial is about complexion and contouring. It's all about making sure that the canvas, or your face, is one color so that other colors that you add on later will pop more. All right, so you want to make sure that when you're choosing a foundation or a BB cream or a CC cream, there's all kinds of things out there nowadays, that you do pick one that's going to match your skin tone, and majorly, the big thing you want to make sure is it matches down to your neck. You do not want a line of demarcation, as we call it in the biz. You don't want that kind of a line here. So what I'm going to be using today is actually a BB cream. You can see it right here. This is by Trish McEvoy. This is on the higher, as far as like price point goes. It's a little more expensive, I'll be honest. It's like $85 for this, but it is a nice large tube. The thing I like about it is a gauged tube, so as you can see, it has a little pump on it, which the main thing about that is, I'm going to do one pump for my whole face. The main thing about that pump is it's not going to let air go back into the tube, so it keeps your product fresher longer, which that's something to think about. When your product oxidizes, it goes bad quicker. So if you're using something that has a lid on it or something where air can travel back in, make sure that you put that lid on very quickly after you use the product, because otherwise it's going to start oxidizing, drying out, and it gets gross. Okay, so I've got a little bit on my hand. I use my hand as a palette all the time. That's just me. You could use whatever you want. I do not recommend sponges for application purposes. Sponges are great for blending, but I would not use a sponge to apply makeup. Number one, bacteria sits in there and it gets disgusting. And number two, it absorbs your product, so you're wasting product. Okay, so at the center of my face, I'm just going to start by pressing. I'm using my fingers because guess what? God gave you fingers for a reason. Use them. You could definitely use a brush, but honestly, for putting this kind of a thing on, it just is kind of pointless to me. One thing to note is that I am not going really far up here. I'm blending out that under eye triangle that I put, that triangle of light as I call it. I'm blending that out, but I'm just basically pressing the product into my skin. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I'm going to get the maximum coverage benefit from doing that. And number two, because I want to. No. Number two is actually because when you press into the skin, it doesn't harm your skin as much, okay? So if you start rubbing it, that causes damage. Now, I'm nearly 40 years old. I know, hard to believe because I act like a 13-year-old sometimes. But I'm nearly 40, and I attribute my skin to using good skincare. I really believe I do have pretty good skin, and yes, some of that is hereditary, but thanks, Mom and Dad. Love you. But the other part of that is really I have used good skincare. Again, thanks to my mother because she told me to. And I've been fortunate enough to work for some pretty amazing cosmetic lines that had some pretty amazing skincare. So I was very fortunate. I'm starting at the middle of my face and really focusing most of this product on the middle of my face. Anyone know why? $1 million question. The reason why, I'll just tell you, is because I can't hear you anyway. Let's be honest. The reason why is because we tend to harbor the most discoloration in this area of the face, right? The center of the face. So if you focus on that area and just blend outward, typically you get a really nice finish like I have right now. Look at that. Look, Mom, I got makeup on. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is teach you a basic contouring lesson. Contouring is all about bringing depth where you want depth and highlight or brightness where you want brightness. Pardon me, I've got a frog in my throat all of a sudden. Read up. Okay. So we're going to bring depth where we want depth first, and we're going to do so using a bronzing product. I'm going to show this to you. I've got this little palette. This is actually a Trish McEvoy thing too. I've worked for her, so that's why. I do like this concept, and I love this. This is a page from her planner, and this is a matte bronzer here. I'm also going to be using this blush to brighten a little bit. I'm going to use a separate product for highlight that I love from M.A.C. It's amazing. So I'm just going to use to do my contour. You want to use a brush that's basically like an angled brush of some sort. You could also use kind of a really more, rounded, dense brush if you want a really extreme contour. But let's be honest, ladies, brushes can be expensive. I will tell you, if you're going to buy brushes, it doesn't hurt to invest a little bit of money. The more you pay, the better quality typically. But that's just me. Okay, so I'm going to start here. And what we're going to do is a basic shape. Okay, so I'm going to start at the hairline basically in this outer corner of the temple area. And we're going to do a C. Okay, so the shape of a C. Right? So we're really hitting here. And then the hollow of the cheek. And then 3. Go down to a 3. Down to this area. And then right down your neck. Okay, so again, I'll do it one more time. So C, 3, and then right down your neck. We're hitting these areas here because what we want to do is we want to create contour. We're darkening this area, the hollow, darkening this area. And that is the perfect way to do it. Make sure when you're doing your contour, don't go too far in. You start looking a little wonky because remember, any place you put that dark color, it's going to look like it's sunk in. So you could go further down, but I don't know if you want to look all that kind of crazy. I'm just saying. Okay, so C3 down the center of the face. Do you see the difference in that side of my face? And this is the contoured side. Not contoured. Contoured. Not contoured. So I have a little more of a sun-kissed glow on this side. And it definitely is looking deeper on this side, right? And then the neck, I'm basically sculpting out and making sure I'm kind of getting rid of this double chin area here. So I always like to put a little bit extra right here. Because anywhere you put dark, it's going to recede. It's going to go away a little bit. Okay? So let's do the other side. So again, we're going to do a C. I'm sorry, I have to cross over my hand here. C. So focus here a little bit. C. Down to a 3. Down the neck. Why do we go down the neck? We go down the neck because we want to make sure everything blends. And a lot of people forget about that neck here. Okay? Let me put a little bit more over here. I feel like I'm going a little crazy over here and not do so much here. I also do a little bit along the hairline here. Just because. And I like to keep this area here nice and bright, so we're going to do some highlighting here. But you can already see I'm shaping my face a little differently. I have a really tall, like Tyra Banks forehead. Love you, Tyra. You're my girl. But, like, it's not so cute. Sorry, Tyra. I know you made millions with that whole look, but I ain't you. Let's be real. All right, so again, focusing here. Think about it as the center of your ear, and you're going to kind of go backwards. Don't get it all up in your hair, though, because that looks like a hot, trashy trailer park mess. Now, if you all live in a trailer park, I am so sorry. They have some really nice double wides. I've seen them. All right. So I'm going to use the exact same brush for my blush, but I'm going to set it aside for now because now I'm going to do my highlight. Hope y'all think you get this part, okay? So with my highlight, I'm actually going to use I really like my highlight to kind of pop a little bit. But I'm going to use a fluffy brush. Typically, I'd probably use a brush like this, which is like a kind of a flat paddle. It's actually a foundation brush, but I like a brush like this for that. What I'm actually going to use, if I can find it, is just a nice, soft, fluffy brush like this. Like so. It's just a rounded, fluffy brush. This is the highlighting powder hey! This is the highlighting powder I was telling you about. This is called Lightscapade by M.A.C. It's a mineral skin finish, and it is thebomb.com. I know I just said thebomb.com. I'm sorry. Sorry to all my friends. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and go like this. Oh, hell. Go like this. Just get it nice and loaded. And then where you're going to put this kind of color is right on the upper cheekbone. Right? I'm just going to pat this in. You want to do it right kind of around the eye area, the eye socket. You want that to pop. You can put it right in the middle of the forehead. Right? Because you want that to kind of pop a little bit. You're going to put it right on this side. So basically upper cheekbones, around the eye a little bit. Right? Down the center of the nose. A little bit on the upper chin here. Some people put it a little bit right here too. I don't mind that. And then right, to create contrast, right underneath that area where we did the bronzer. So basically on your jawline. But don't think about like really low. Go a little higher. Right here. This is also going to help you to kind of create those lines that you want. So you can, when you blend later, you'll get this beautiful, like, perfected look. So you can already see where those areas where I put the highlight are really popping. So it's going to bring those forward or out. The receded areas, the bronzer is going to go back. So it's going to create this really high, and you can already see the effect as that's occurring, right? You get this really chiseled, oh my God, this camera thing. This really chiseled look and a higher pop right here. And that's that, right? So that's the highlight. So think about it this way. Center of the forehead, around the eye. You want to highlight this a little bit. Around the eye, nose, upper chin, upper jawline. And then just for good measure, I go down the center of my neck, the very center of the neck. What's this going to do? So I put that darker color here and here. If I put this brighter color here, then when light hits, it's going to make my neck look slimmer. You might be wondering why I'm looking up. I have a mirror here. Okay. This is a little hard for me, so I put a mirror here. I know. Weird. Anyway, so now, next thing. I'm going to take that same brush I used for the bronzer. Now I'm going to go into this beautiful peachy neutral blush here. I'm I'm just going to kind of load up the one end of the brush, and then I'm just going to press right on the apple of the cheek, no further than the end of my eyebrow. Just adding a little brightness. Think about it. Do you blush way back here? No. So when you blush, you don't get color way back here. You get color right here. When you're running up a flight of stairs, where's the color? Bam, right there. So that's where you're going to put the color. Okay, so you're just going to go right here, no further than the end of your eyebrow. So don't go past this point. Just pressing, just add some brightness there. Isn't that pretty? This is all part of the game right here, just adding a little bit of brightness. Now we've got all these different layers. We've got the highlight, we've got the contour, we've got the brightness here. And yes, ladies, you can do this for every day. This is not a drag queen thing. This is a real life like situation. That's a technical word. So now I'm going to take a blending brush. This is a really nice flat, ooh, girl needs a haircut over here. She got all matted or something. So I'm going to use a little bit of a setting powder. I'm going to use Mineral Veil by Bare Minerals. I love that stuff. I almost said I don't know what I was almost saying. I love this stuff. So I'm just going to basically swirl, tap, and just buff everything out. I do setting powder last because you'll see. I'm going to show you one side, not the other first. When you blend like this, that's when you really get the magic happening. You blend all over everything. So look at this side of my face compared to that side. This side you can still see lines. This side looks nice and blended and even. I hit the high note. All right. Let's blend out this side now. You don't want to rub real hard. You want to take away all the beautiful work you did. You just want to kind of blend everything out. Okay. There you have it. What do you think? So that's really simple. So here's a rule of thumb for y'all. Rule of thumb, you should not take longer on your face than you do your eyes. Now I know I took a long time right now explaining all this stuff. I get it. You're going to be like, oh my God, I've just been sitting here watching him for like 17 minutes plus. Like seriously? I took a long time because I wanted to explain a few things. When you do this at home, it literally will take you like tops 2 minutes because you're going to be like, bam, 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 beautiful, right? You're going to be like, hallelujah. That's what's going to happen. So I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for liking the Facebook page. And if you've subscribed to the YouTube page, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Again, my name is Greg Coleman. I am the owner and artist for The Made Face. And I do appreciate you patronizing me. Thank you so much. And be on the lookout for the next video, which is all going to be about lips and eyebrows. See you next time. Bye.